Introducing the all-new 14-foot Sport Plus. Now, this board is a long-distance machine. If you're looking to maybe take on some club racing, maybe you're looking to do a bit of fitness for personal bests, maybe you want to enter a challenger race, which is a multi-day long-distance endurance event, then this board has been designed specifically with you in mind. At 14 foot long, it adheres to the international racing class, so you can enter your 14-foot racing class. But we also wanted to make it a super versatile board that's comfortable for those longer distances. So at 28 inches wide, when your legs are a bit tired, when your arms are starting to feel the burn, and maybe you've been paddling for several hours in the water, it's going to give you that confidence and stability just to keep going, to get your head down and keep paddling through any of the rough stuff, especially if there's a bit of wind or chop. In fact, that 28 inches width, we then carry down the back third of the board here. It allows for these really nice straight parallel rails, which aid tracking, but also it creates a square tail at the back of the board, which is important, especially if you're downwinding and you're picking up any wind-blown swell or chop. That gives you a real nice boost. Furthermore, and to aid with the speed of this board, we've included our speed tail. Now, this is a rubberized strip at the very tail of the board, which aids water release. So rather than the water wrapping around the rounded rail shape and creating drag and turbulence, the water simply releases off the back of the board. Again, fantastic if you are doing any sort of downwinding or maybe super flat water sprint training or long distance racing, because you're just going to be ensuring that you're getting the ultimate speed out of each and every paddle stroke. You've also got a US fin box, which comes with a 9-inch touring fin, but it does mean that it's fully customizable depending on the conditions and your preferences. Now, as we come up the board, on the top of the board, we have our various traction zones in our EVA deck pad here. So we have our square cut tail pad, which means that if you are stepping back into your surf stance, maybe into some beach breaks, or maybe you're doing some downwinding on some larger swells, you've got a nice traction zone there to be able to lock in and also orientate yourself without looking down. And then you've got this really large red embossed standing area. That's been deliberately designed so it's soft on your feet, but also gives you the traction you need. There's nothing worse than if you're standing on a board for several hours at a time, you don't want to have extra aches and pains coming from the EVA deck pad. You've also got this square cut right at the front of the board, which allows you to easily lock any cargo in on this first bungee, and that's a fully adjustable front bungee there with a small compartment there to allow you to stow any water bottles or footwear or easy to grab race essentials that you may need. You've then got your additional 2 bungees at the front, which allows you to take larger cargo, maybe a spare paddle or any extra layers that you need when you're out there for long periods of time. In terms of getting the board in and out of the water, maybe if you're doing some portages, getting the kit out and having to do land sections on longer distance racing, then you've got your 3 handles, one at the tail and the front of the board, and also this ergonomic tubular grip in the center here, right in the middle of the board, well balanced to be able to carry the board over longer distances. Down the rail of the boards, we have included our RSS stiffening battens. Now, these boards are 5.9 inches thick, so they already have an incredible amount of stiffness built into these boards. But with that batten in place, if you are going through any rough stuff, maybe you're in some surf environment, it allows the load of the rider standing in the center of the board here to be distributed down the full length of the board, giving you a much stiffer feel and a much more responsive feel. Perhaps the true magic of this board, though, despite all that, is what lies on the inside. For the Sport Plus range, we've created a brand new material called MSL 800. It's been 5 years in development, and ultimately it's been about refining everything we know about our material MSL to create a lighter, stiffer material for longer boards that need lightning quick performance. MSL 800 effectively reduces the inner weld substrate. So by that I mean you've got your reinforced coating. Inside that you've got your welding substrate, which allows it to connect to the inner drop stitch. By tightening the weave on the drop stitch, we've been able to reduce that, which ultimately reduces the weight of these boards. In fact, this 14-foot board is just over 10.5 kilograms, about 24 pounds in weight. We've also changed the configuration of the raw drop stitch weave itself. That means you get this double drop stitch effect, which also increases the stiffness of boards, especially over the longer profile shapes, such as the 14 and 12/6 Sport Plus range. This board is 356 litres. It takes riders up to 120 kilograms, 256 pounds, and it is the ultimate long distance paddling machine. The 14-foot Sport Plus is ultimately the board that's going to get you there. Happy paddling.